I bought a Steam Deck to satisfy my urge or my want of buying a gaming PC. And for the first 3 months, it's done that. Yeah, definitely. But by having this, it's created that urgency of maybe I should get a gaming PC next. So I got the Steam Deck on the basis of, well, gaming PC is going to be a bit too much for me. I'm not going to have time to play it. I can't be bothered with the tinkering. And, when you're working all day and if you're sat at a desk, you don't really want to be coming home and sitting on the desk, not on the desk, but at the desk, so I say. The Steam Deck seemed like a good balance for me. I could play older games that I've missed out on, relatively cheap, and I could still tinker with it, but also I can play it anywhere. When I've got a spare 10 minutes, I know that I could have a good little session on my Steam Deck. The Steam Deck, it's great because it's more like a game console, which I'm used to. So yeah, I thought this will do for me. I don't need anything else. I don't need a big expensive gaming rig. I'm not going to get the use of it. And when I bought the deck, I thought I might not even get the use out of this. But here we are. 3 months on, I'm thinking that the Steam Deck is probably up there one of the best gaming purchases that I've made in recent years. So recently, the deck has become my main gaming device. I'll turn on the PS5 if I just want a bit of Battlefield multiplayer, and I'll do that. And then within about 10 minutes, I am getting my bottom handed to me by kids who've got reflexes faster than lightning. So then I am back to the deck. I think I've gamed on the deck, these past 3 months way more than I have in other months. I think that's just through how easy the deck is to actually play, how easy it is to set up and get going, booting up, etc. It's just that convenience that it comes with. Deck has reignited my love for gaming. As a kid, I was one of these who just sat in my room and played on my Xbox, my 360, whatever it may have been. And the Steam Deck somewhat has allowed me to revisit my youth and just play a lot of games in the past. I'm playing GTA 4 here now, and that for me, I can just remember queuing up for a midnight launch, and you just don't get that these days. And playing this in the Steam Deck now, it's like it's aged like fine wine. It's just brilliant. And I think this is why I'm saying that the Steam Deck's one of the best purchases I've made in, like I said, in a while. I think even more so than my PS5 Pro. I just love its simplicity, and then the fact of how cheap games actually are on it. I've loved the fact of the Steam library. It is huge, and the fact that games are so cheap to get. If I wanted these games on Xbox or PlayStation, I'm going to have to pay a premium, whether that's on this or through the digital storefronts. Whereas on Steam, they're just there, really. I have websites where I can get codes heavily discounted, picking up Mad Max for £1.50. Yeah, how much is that going to cost on the PlayStation? So if I want to play Mad Max on my PlayStation right now, it is going to cost me £16. Pay just over 10% of that to play it on my Steam Deck and to be able to play it wherever and whenever I want. One of the reasons I may have not got a PC is because, well, I didn't really have a PC library. I've had consoles for years, so my Steam library, like I've mentioned, it was very, very small. It was just Football Manager. That's it. Hardly worth buying an expensive PC rig, right? So this is it. The Steam Deck has just really, really opened up gaming because the library's huge, the games I can play, blown away by it. And, I'm telling my friends, get a Steam Deck. Honestly, don't bother getting a Switch. Treat yourself to a Steam Deck.
Treat yourself.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm just going to hit pause on the video. Okay, so if you are enjoying the video and you're liking what you're hearing, then feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate everyone who takes the time to watch my videos and to also subscribe to them. So yeah, if you do subscribe, thank you very much. And that's it, and I will get back to the video now. I just cannot get into it for the life of me. But I saw it on sale on Steam, and I knew I had it on my PlayStation because it was on PS Plus a while back. So I picked it up, and I noticed it had cross progression. So I thought, right, okay, that'll be good. So I started my save on the Steam Deck, and then I've carried on my save on the PlayStation. And now the difference in going from the PlayStation to the Steam Deck is night and day. Of course, completely different machine. But this is the issue. It's made a pickle for me where the fact is I really liked how I could tinker on the Steam Deck. I can change how I want the game to look and play, modify. I don't get that on the PlayStation. I can either have performance or I could have quality. I just love the customization that actually comes with the PC. Am I going to love the fact of I have to tweak settings, download drivers? I don't know. Maybe the Steam Deck has sheltered me a fair bit from that. Hard to say. Having the Steam Deck has actually made me think that PC gaming is a lot more approachable than I first thought. Having things like Proton, Steam inputs, controller layouts, those sorts of things removed any fear, anxiety that I have around PC gaming, because I've realized how good a community Steam actually is. All the mods for it. Sorry, I'm just playing Jurassic Park. You're already halfway to having a gaming PC with a Steam Deck. Yes, you've not got the performance, but you've got the software as such in the games. And yeah, I think this is the big thing with PC gaming, is the fact that the library is huge. One of the benefits of having a PC is, of course, higher frame rates. And I think in the past never really bothered me, but since having the PS5 Pro, yeah, I somewhat want that more from the games I play. So I love higher frame rates. Playing on a bigger screen, yeah, I can play on a 65-inch OLED, but sometimes maybe just playing on a nice 32-inch screen would just help. And what I like about PC gaming over console gaming is the mods that are available to us. I love playing Pro Evo as a kid. Now, I can't do any of that now on a PlayStation, but on a Steam Deck or on a gaming PC, I can do that. And don't get me wrong, I would not ditch the deck if I got a gaming PC. The deck still offers comfort for me. I can play anywhere. I can just sit on the sofa. It allows me to be present. So if everyone's in the lounge, chilling, watching TV, I know if I just want a quick little session gaming on maybe Soul or Bioshock, that I can just put on the deck and, I can play, and I'm present, I'm in the room. Granted, I might not be giving 100% of my attention because I'll be playing the game, but I'm there. Whereas if I was on a PC, I'd have to be in a different room. The deck's great for short sessions as well. So if I had 10 minutes here and there between maybe the dogs going to sleep and just before starting to cook tea, or as I'm cooking tea, the deck will be handy. And I know that a PC, just wouldn't be able to do that for me. But I can't see me getting a PC anytime soon, unless it was a pre-built. I'm seeing some good deals on them at the moment via Reddit. Although I am, I'm not actively looking. But I think at the moment, like you're seeing everywhere, gaming's in a bit of a fluctuating state. In fact, RAM has shot up in price. I just think I can't really afford that right now. If you've owned a game console for quite some time, or you've only been a console gamer, has the Steam Deck or owning any gaming handheld made you think, well, actually, maybe a gaming PC is for me? Oh my god. Oh, Jesus Christ. So, when I'm weighing up whether I should purchase a gaming PC, I can hear him. There he is. Jesus Christ, that scared me. So has having a Steam Deck or another handheld gaming PC made you think about your next big purchase in the gaming world? One thing that's always put me off having a gaming PC is that cost. You're looking at 4 figures for a decent machine. First, you think time, you can just upgrade parts. It's not just a massive outlay every 5 to 10 years. I think probably doesn't work out too bad. And I think a big pro of PC gaming is the fact that you don't have to pay for your online gaming. And over the course of a year, if you're having to pay, I think PS Plus is £120 a year now. So over 5 years, you're looking at nearly £600, which is a massive amount of money. £600 over 5 years just to have a membership and to play online. I think this is it. It's that initial cost of having PC game. Oh, it's so expensive. It is so expensive. But in the long run, it's probably not that much more expensive. So I'm curious, where do you guys land on this? Are you exclusive PC gamers who've bought a deck? Are you a console gamer who's venturing into the world of PCs and maybe having a soft entrance? Sounds a bit weird. Dipping your toes into the PC market through the use of a handheld, whether it's a Steam Deck or, an Ally or the Legion Go range. Or by having a gaming handheld, are you actually thinking, I don't need a gaming PC. This handheld does everything I need. I am not bothered by the best looking 4K games. I just want to play games that I enjoy. And, they might be low graphically intense games that, I think all these reasons are valid. It just depends on, I think, where you've started on your gaming journey. I think a lot of people now, they might have started off with gaming PCs, whereas back in my day, it was, you only really had your consoles because I think the lack of internet, maybe, we didn't really have exposure to what is out there for us. And, my parents, they weren't as tech savvy as I am now. I think children these days, I think their approach to gaming, and maybe yours, is a lot different to what mine was several years ago. So, if I was to get a gaming PC, I wouldn't see it as transitioning away from using the Steam Deck. Maybe you could say it as that I'm leveling up. I didn't buy the Steam Deck to get into PC gaming. I'll say that from the start. But, I bought it because I wanted something simple. Something that could fit around my hectic life. But 3 months later, I've realised it's done something that I just did not expect. It hasn't replaced anything as such. I've still used my PS5 for multiplayer games, but it's reminded me why I enjoy gaming in the first place. And, that curiosity has led me to, exploring the idea of buying a proper gaming PC. I think that's because the Steam Deck has done its job far too well. Right now, I don't even know if I'll buy a gaming PC. But what I do know is the fact that the Steam Deck has changed how I game and how I want to game. It made me want more performance, more immersion on my terms, not confined by what Sony or Microsoft say from their consoles. And whether that's on PC or on the Steam Deck, I am enjoying my gaming journey again. For some people, the Steam Deck is the end game. For some, it's the beginning. For me, it's been a reminder, gaming doesn't have to be complicated to be exciting. You're watching this thinking, yeah, I get that feeling. You're probably exactly where I am right now. So let me know where the Steam Deck or any other gaming handheld has taken you on this gaming journey. And, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any comments about how the Steam Deck has affected your gaming journey, let me know in the comments down below. I love having a conversation with you guys. I will engage with every comment on the video. So, until next time, cool vow.